Hello, everyone. Welcome back, traders, and good morning to you. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever part of the world you are tuning in from. And in fact, I'm very inspired and excited to welcome you to another promising edition of the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola. As usual, we are going to be taking a fresh new perspective into the current market structures as we delve deep into an insightful analysis of the financial instruments that are shared during the course of the weekend. And as usual, the instruments we are going to be taking on for this week are the USDJPY, the XAUUSD, USOIL SPOT, and of course the USDJPY. So we've already done a top-down analysis on this instrument as we tried as much as possible to identify potential trading opportunities using simple parameters such as trend lines, key level, and of course chart patterns to gain valuable insight into the historical price movement of this instrument. And as a result of this, we are going to be doing a follow-up detail during the Forex Mastery session. So basically, we are going to be focusing on the 1 hour time frame. So for those who have not watched the videos on that I shared during the course of the weekend, I will be advising you to watch these videos as it will give you a background knowledge of how we got to the current market structure you will be seeing on the 1 hour time frame. And in fact, watching that video will also give you knowledge, insight, and ideas on how you can independently take advantage of trading opportunities on your account. So I have the link to the videos right in the description box of this current video you are watching, so you might want to check them out after the live session. And in fact, they are duly time-stamped so you can easily navigate to whichever aspect of the video is of your interest. So once again, for those who are joining us for the first time, you are highly welcome. So right now we are going to be diving right into the business, but as usual, you know how we do it in the morning. We always want to check on the economic calendar first of all so that we can keep tabs with the fundamental aspect of the market. And you all know by now, these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. And by monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and of course specific technical patterns. And with the information we'll be gathering from all this situation we'll be seeing on the economic calendar, we can easily time ourselves in such a way that we can identify and be on standby to catch any potential trading opportunity ahead, during, or even after this event. So with that being said, here let's dive right into the business. But before we go into the details, I would like to confirm that we are all good and on the same page here. So please let me know if the sound quality is fine and the visuals are quite okay by letting me know in the comment section, as this will help me have an idea that we are all on the same page. And in fact, if there is a need for me to do some adjustment, this will also help me to do the appropriate thing to make sure our experience out here will be of top notch. So I would like to see some feedbacks in that regard before we dive right into the details for today. I see your comment, Mystic. Good morning to you, Mystic, and how are you doing? Trust you had a wonderful weekend. And Mansur, good morning to you and glad to have you around. Trust you had a wonderful weekend too out there. All right, so I still look forward to your comments as regards to the audio visuals of this current video you are watching. So let's dive right into the business for today. And as usual, the first instrument on our watch list for today is of course the USOIL SPOT. Oh, sorry, I haven't gone through the economic calendar. So let's quickly run through the economic calendar quickly before we move into the USOIL SPOT. Don't mind me, I'm trying to get ahead of the game. All right, so on the economic calendar, we shall be focusing on high impact event, of course, that will be affecting, that will be coming in from economic dockets that will be affecting the currency pairs that we are looking at for today. And these are the US economic docket, the Japanese, and of course the United Kingdom economic docket. And if we look at the economic calendar here, we do not have any high impact event for today, Monday, July 17th, as you can see on your screen. Let me zoom this in a little bit so that we can see things clearly. All right, so we do not have any high impact event coming in today. But in this kind of situation, especially since today is the first trading day of the week, I always like to filter in the medium impact event to see if we can still leverage on the expectation. So I want to include the medium impact event right now. So let's see if we do have something to look forward to for today. So going back into Monday, July 17th. Okay, so we have the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index coming in about 3 hours from now, and the Empire State of Manufacturing survey conducted by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York gauges business condition for New York manufacturers. Generally speaking, a positive result indicates bullish for US dollar, while a negative result shows poor growth of the US dollar. So this is one event to majority will also want to be looking forward to. And the previous data here came in at 6.6, while there is a general consensus of 0. So there is a general belief that there is going to be a contraction in the manufacturing sector in the New York City. So we are going to be looking forward to what that data is going to be like as we look out for patterns and structure ahead of this event to help us position ourselves in such a way that we can catch any potential move. So with that being said here, let's dive right back into the chart. And as usual, the first instrument we are going to be taking this morning is, of course, the USOIL SPOT. Okay, I see your comment, Fulcrum 7. Thank you very much for that feedback. I really do appreciate, and good morning to you too as well. So right here on the 1 hour time frame of the USOIL SPOT, I already shared an update on how we are going to be managing the USOIL SPOT for this week. And if you are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you would have gotten an update as in that regard. But before we delve into the details here, let's quickly run through my commentary on the USOIL SPOT this morning, so we can all be on the same page together before we dive into what to look out for. So this is my TradingView platform, and this is my commentary this morning as regards to the current market setup. And I said here the beginning of the new week has commenced with a bearish tone as the price action decisively breaches both the demand zone and the ascending trend line, of course, that we identified in the video. So that is why I said it's very important that you watch my videos during the course of the weekend, as this will help you have a better understanding of what we are talking about here. So indicating the continuation of a downtrend. If you happen to miss the initial breakdown, I said here that a retest of the market structure will serve as a confirmation to either join the ongoing trend or consider adding to your existing positions. So let's go back into the live chart here, and to make things a little bit clearer, I would want to zoom out of the structure so that we can see things clearly here. And one thing you would observe is that price action has been very bullish since the beginning of this month. And to further emphasize that, we have a couple of trend lines identified on this chart after connecting the series of higher lows, as you can see here. And then we also connected the series of higher highs. And this for us has been a major yardstick that we have been using to guide our trading activities in the last couple of weeks. Now, with the situation we have right now, considering what went on in this market during the course of last week's trading session, this is what we were able to come up with. as we saw bullish traction resume around that $75 zone, inciting a very strong bullish momentum last week, which we were lucky enough to be part of that trading opportunity as we rather move all the way to the upside. And prior to the beginning of this week, we saw how price action came back into that zone. As you can see, we started seeing some signs that buyers might likely push price to the upside. We saw retest of structure here. We saw the breakout of and retest of this level, hereby giving us a demand zone to work with for the week. And during my videos during the weekend, I told us all that this demand zone area is going to be one of the key determinants of price action, and that if price continues to find buy pressure above the demand zone, then we are going to be looking out for buying opportunities. But if price breaks down that demand zone, I stated in the video that we will begin to look out for selling opportunities. Now let's look at what has been going on since the beginning of this week and how price action, our participant in the market, has been relating to the current market structure here. Now, this is what I was able to spot here this morning after trying to decipher what the next line of action will be. And one interesting thing we noted here is our price action fell into a consolidation phase, further emphasizing the level of indecision around this area. And one thing about this indecision is probably because of how important this confluence is, where we have a demand zone and the ascending trend line sharing a beautiful confluence. And you know, when we are around the confluence like this, the potency of price action to go either way is very, very high. We could have a situation where price would respect the ascending trend line one more time to push price to the upside, and we could also have a situation where price could break down the ascending trend line to incite selling opportunities. And if we look at what has been going here this morning, I emphasized in my commentary this morning that we saw a breakdown of the support line for the week, which is sitting at the $74.45 level, and of course the ascending trend line, which has been supporting this bullish momentum in the last couple of weeks. And I told us here that for those who had missed out on the breakdown of the structure, that we want to be looking out for a retest or rejection of the $74.50 level to join the bearish move. And in fact, if you had followed that instruction appropriately, we saw price action come back to retest the structure, and at this point in time we have a sell position running. And if you are taking advantage of this opportunity, well done and kudos to you for being on standby to catch this move, as you will currently be running with at least 44 pips in profit at this point in time. Now, for those who have a sell position running right now, the week is still very, very early, and there are still chances that buyers could still come in, as the breakdown we saw here could still turn out to be a false breakdown. So we need to be very, very careful and not to get too excited and getting lost in the trail. So what I will be suggesting us to do right now is to move all our stop losses on all the sell positions we have right now to our entry points in such a way that even if price action goes against us, we are going to be closing this position at a worst case scenario of break even. So with our stop loss move to secure the position right now, what is going to be our plans going forward? And for those who had missed out on this opportunity, what do you think? What do we think could happen from this point in time? Well, as price action has broken down the structure here, and if you had missed out on this opportunity, I will be suggesting that you remain patient and wait for new structures to mature before we join any potential move to the downside. And for the fact here is that as long as price action remains below the $74.50 level, and of course the ascending trend line, we will have no other choice than to continue to look out for selling opportunities. So like I was saying earlier, if you had missed out on this opportunity, well, let's remain patient and wait for new structures. And one of the structures we can be looking out for are, we could look out for a price action coming back to retest the $74.50 level. So even if we start seeing buy pressure, we are still not going to get panic at all, as price could still come back, retest the $74.50 level, or in fact the ascendant trend line, to now incite another wave of bearish momentum if we begin to see sell pressure around that area. So this is one scenario we are going to be looking forward to. This is for those who had missed out on this opportunity. And if that one does not happen, then we want to be looking out for a consolidation phase where and indecision grips the market and price action run through a consolidation phase for a while, we mark that levels out and then wait for the breakdown retest of the support line of that consolidation phase to join a trend continuation to the downside. So this is how we are going to be managing a sell position in this particular market. But trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my trading view and Telegram platforms to give you updates on what I think will happen if we have new setup unfold on the chart. So on the US Oil Spot for today, we shall remain very bearish in this particular market. Now, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities, you know how we do it in this community. We want to be as dynamic as possible. We are in a very fluid environment, the financial market, of course, and for us to be on standby to catch any potential move, we want to keep tabs with the opposite direction as well. Now, with this case scenario we have here, what is it that will happen on this chart that will make us change our bias from bearish to bullish? What are we going to be seeing on this chart that will make us feel comfortable buying the US Oil Spot? Well, in this case scenario, like I said earlier, it's looking very bearish as we have a breakdown of that ascending trend line and of course that demand zone. But one thing that will make us want to consider buying the US Oil Spot today is to see price action climb back above the ascending trend line. And in fact, if price action climbs back above the ascending trend line, taking us out of all our sell positions, then at this point, we want to start considering buying. Because if price breaks above the ascending trend line at this point, you would agree with me now that we are going to be back within the buyer's territory, which is a demand zone we identified earlier. But I doubt if this is going to be happening today, but if it does happen, we want to be on standby to catch that opportunity. So we shall be having a situation where to look out for buying opportunity if price action climbs above the ascending trend line. And of course, I will be in the comment section to give you updates on how to take advantage of that opportunity. So that is that on the US Oil Spot for today, and I would advise you to mark out these levels on your chart as you will be needing them to as a reference point to guide your trading activities during the London and New York session today. So if you have any questions regarding what I just explained right now, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the comment section and see if there are any questions whatsoever, and you can as well use that time to mark out this level on your chart or screenshot my screen, as you will be needing these structures to guide your trading activities for today. Yes, I see your comment, Fred. Good morning, Fred. How are you doing today? Glad to have you around. James Okori, good morning to you. Thanks for checking in on us. I trust you had a wonderful weekend, and I'm very grateful to have you around. All right, I think we are good to go here. Okay, mind you, Arum, I saw your comment asking about XAUUSD. Of course, we are going to be treating XAUUSD in a moment. So please stay tuned in, as XAUUSD is part of our instruments for today. So we're just rounding off on the US Oil Spot, seeing if there are any questions before we move into the next instrument. So in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we're on the same page here. So we shall be moving into the next instrument on our watch list. So the next instrument on our watch list for today is the GBPUSD, the cable market, of course. And I always say here that you should watch my video on the GBPUSD where I did a top-down analysis. I analyzed this current market structure from the higher time frame. So you really do want to watch it so that you can have a background knowledge of what we are talking about here on the 1 hour time frame. And like I said earlier, The link to that videos are right in the description box of this current video, and they are duly timestamped so you can easily navigate to whichever chapter of the video is of your interest. So now let's go right into the GBPUSD, and the first thing we are going to be doing here is to go through my commentary on this instrument this morning. So for those who are with me on the TradingView and Telegram platform, definitely you would have gotten these updates this morning. So let's run through what we said here. So I said here this morning that since the beginning of the week, there has been a notable period of range-bound trading, with the price action becoming confined between the levels of the $1.31 and the 1.30820 level. Recently, sellers have made attempts to break below the support line of this range. It is worth noting that trading activities continue to stay below our key level, of course, at the 1.3100 level. We identified this in our video during the course of the weekend, reinforcing the likelihood of sellers influencing market dynamics, particularly in the first half of the week. Additionally, it is important to consider the descending trend line identified on the 1 hour time frame as a crucial guideline for identifying potential trading opportunities for today. So now let's go back into the live chat and talk about and expatiate on what I discussed here. So going back into the live chat, so this is what the structure is looking like from the commentary I made this morning. And remember, we had our key level identified during the course of the weekend around the 1.3100 level. And of course, you know how we use our key levels in this community. As long as price remains below the key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of selling. And if price action climbs above our key level, we of course want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will be supporting the idea of buying the asset we are talking about. Now, in this case scenario, we have our key level at the 1.3100 level, which is going to be guiding our trading activity today. And in addition to the key level we have here is the fact that price action was initially caught within a range since the early hours of this week, as you can see here, giving us a clue into the level of indecision at this point. And you know how we do it in this community. When price action falls within a range, we want to wait patiently for price action to either break out of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. And one thing we discussed here this morning is that we are also going to be using this descending trend line to guide our trading activity. Now look at what we have here. We have a descending trend line. Price has been respecting this trend line since Thursday of last week to give us a bearish momentum. However, if you notice what went on this morning, you would notice that despite the fact that we have been seeing lower highs in this particular market, you would notice that since the beginning of this week, the 1.30820 level has continually rejected all attempts by the sellers to break through this zone. And what this simply tells us is that there is a gradual build-up of momentum behind the scenes by the buyers, which we cannot ignore at this point. And if you look at what has been going on here in the last couple of hours, we saw how price action sharply rejected this zone, giving us an hammer candle followed by an engulfing bullish candle to give us an insight into the strength of the buyers around this area. Now, I said in the video that we are going to be using the trend line as a yardstick to guide our trading activity. And what this simply means is that if price action remains below our descending trend line, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will be supporting the idea of selling. But if price action breaks out of the trend line, then at that point we want to consider buy. Now, if you look at my commentary and look at the chart I published, you will see that I stated here that we are going to be selling if price breaks down to 1.30820. So it broke down before I shared the publication, so you want to be looking for a retest to join, but we have not yet seen a retest to join a sell move, and instead we have seen our price action have triggered our buy stop order above the 1.3100 level to give us our first buy position for the week. And one important thing and one interesting thing about this current structure is how the descending trend line here shares a beautiful confluence with a resistant line of that channel we noticed this morning. This channel I'm talking about here. Let me give you a visual representation. So this is the channel, and that is the resistant line. And interestingly, the resistant line also is the same level as our key level for the week. Now that confluence there is a very important one, where if price breaks out of the trend line and of course that 1.3100 level, we want to be buying the GBPUSD. So as long as price action remains above the structure, we shall feel comfortable in the buy, and our stop loss should be right around that support line here, which will be dovetailing to about 18 to 20 pips stop loss, which is not bad for this current structure. Let's see how price action will play out in the next couple of hours. So at this point in time, we have a buy position triggered right now, and let's see how far this bullish momentum will go. And if there are new setup that comes along the line that is to maximize the potential of this move, definitely I will be sharing it with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So we are bullish right now. We have a buy position triggered. Our stop losses around that 1.30820 level, and let's see how far this momentum will go. Now, another thing I would like to say here, despite the bullish momentum we are seeing here, the only thing that will make me consider selling the GBPUSD from this current market structure is for me to see price action slice through the 1.30820 level, retest of structure before I can consider selling. So if this does not happen, we shall continue to remain bullish on the GBPUSD. And trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platforms to give you updates as at when due. So these are my views here on the GBPUSD for today. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the comment section and see if there are any inquiries, and you can as well use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, of course, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. Good morning, Kwaku Anim. Good morning to you. It's been a while since I saw you. Trust you are doing well. All right. Okay, Manjun Harun. All right, it's okay. Falcrum 7 is asking what TP for buy on the GBPUSD. Well, in as much as I try to avoid being a financial advisor online, well, what we do here is simply to guide your trading decision. So I can give you key levels to watch out for. Now, looking at the structure we have here, we have a key level at the 1.31400 area, an area where I will be looking out for more buying opportunity if price action breaks out of this level to the upside to welcome more buying opportunity in this market. So we have a level around there which you can use as your TP target, but personally I'm in this trade for a long run, so I definitely want to have my TP target way beyond that level so that I can maximize the potential of this move. So we have a level around the 1.314, and I'm still thinking that if price continues to climb to the upside, I want to be adding more position to my existing trade. So you can have your TP target as far as wide as possible as you want. That is preferential. It depends on you and your portfolio on that one. So that is what I will say as regards to your TP target. So I can just give you your stop loss area, which I've already said. I'm not precise with your stop loss area. I have given you a zone where you can use to walk around depending on your portfolio size. But if you want something more than that, then you can contact me personally on my Telegram platform, which the ID is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. I hope I made myself clear there, Falcrum. Sophie Oyugi, can you highlight today expectation of AUD USD? Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that. We have 4 instruments on our watch list for this week, which are the USDJPY, XAUUSD, GBPUSD, and of course the USOIL SPOT. So this is what we are working on for today. I don't want to extend our watch list beyond that. I hope I'm okay, Sophie. All right, you're welcome, Falcrum 7. All right, with that being said here, and with no further questions, we shall be moving on to the next instrument for today. So the next instrument on our watch list for today is the XAUUSD, and a very I call this one of my favorite instruments that I love to trade so much. And in fact, we have been quite profitable on this commodity in the last couple of weeks now. So let's quickly run through what I said here as regards to the current market structure we are currently witnessing on this commodity. Now, if you are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you will definitely have gotten an update on how we intend to manage our position on this instrument. So this morning I shared this about 2 hours ago. I said here that the price action continues to remain confined within the range of the $1,956.75 level, and of course the $1,951 level, highlighting a significant level of indecision in the current market situation. At this juncture, it is prudent to exercise patience and wait for a clear signal on the chart, indicating either a breakdown or breakout of this range, which will present potential trading opportunities. We will delve into this market structure in more details during our live session today. So this is the new setup I was able to identify this morning after trying to decipher what our next course of action is going to be like. Now, if you look at the current market structure here, remember that during the second half of last week, we saw how price action fell into a range which lasted about 48 to about 60 hours, I think, giving us that level of indecision at that point. And remember that we had a sell position towards the end of last week's trading session, which price appears not to really be moving or gaining traction in that direction based on what we are seeing right here this morning. Now, zooming into this current structure, there are a couple of parameters here that we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for today. Now, the first one here is the descending trend line I was able to spot here after connecting the series of lower highs. So if you look at the market here since Thursday of last week trading session, you would notice our price action has been finding lower highs. And if we connect the series of lower highs appropriately, you will see that we have two descending trend line to work with, at least for the first half of this week. And you know how we do it in this community. As long as price remain below the descending trend lines, we want to, of course, continue to look out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of selling an asset. Now, besides the trend line here, there's another structure we were able to spot here this morning, and that is the range between the $1,956.75 and the $1,951 level, giving us an insight into the level of indecision at this point in time. And you know how we do it in this community. As long as price action remains within a range, we want to exercise patience, waiting for either a breakout of that range to happen to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the range to happen to give us an opportunity to sell. And with the way things are right now, price action still remain caught within the range, but I'm of the opinion that we might likely be seeing a bullish momentum. So why have I decided to say that we are going to be buying? We are likely going to be seeing a buy today. Well, despite the lower highs we noticed here. Now, one thing you will notice here is that that area around the 1,951 level has been a very strong buying niche in this market since last week's trading session. And if we go to as far back as, let's say, Thursday of last week, you will see how the zone has been a strong buying niche. In fact, sellers have struggled around that area to push price to the downside. And the inability of price action to go further to the downside for us is a clear sign that we might likely be seeing a build-up of bullish momentum behind the scenes. And if that is going to be the case, then definitely we don't want to be selling anywhere above this level. And the only thing that will make us consider selling at this point in time is for us to see price action take out all the buy position within that 1951 zone to give us a confirmation that sellers are likely going to be dictating the pace going forward. So I want to see a breakdown, then scale down to my lower time frame retest of structure before I want to start considering selling the XAUUSD at this point. So we are not going to be selling unless price action breaks down and retests the 1951 level, which has of course been a very strong buy niche in the last three days now. Now, with this information we have gathered, I want to be positioning myself for a bullish move. Now, if you look at the resistant line of this range we noticed this morning, we can see we have the resistant line here at the $1,956.75 level. And of course, this is the highest point price action has been for this week. And one interesting thing about this level is the fact that it falls within the zone of that descending trend line we identified earlier. Now, depending on what happens here will be a major determinant of where price action is likely going to be going for today. Now, look at how the confluence is here. We have the descending trend line and of course that resistant line sharing a beautiful confluence. So now if a breakout of both the descending trend line and of course the resistant line happens, then we want to start considering buying the XAUUSD. Now the question here is, how do we intend to buy the XAUUSD? Are we going to be having a buy stop order above the $1,956.75 level? Well, personally for me, the answer is yes. So I already had a buy stop order prior to the live session right here, and my buy stop has been triggered at this point with a stop loss sitting somewhere right close to the support line here, which will be dovetailing to between 45 to 50 pips of even 55 pips stop loss around this area, as of course we need to give enough room for price action to breed here. So above the $1,956.75 level seems most appropriate to start considering buying the XAUUSD. So let's see how this momentum is going to go. And in fact, if price action goes on in such a way that it breaks out this level and even comes back to retest it, followed by buying pressure above the trend line, then I will definitely be adding more position. And look at what we have here. We also have another structure at the $1,963.50 level, where a further breakout retest of that structure will be welcoming more buy position here. So I will be having another buy stop order there to maximize the potential of this bullish move. So these are my views here on the XAUUSD today. It's quite a simple setup we have here. We have a flat channel to work with, and we are looking at buying above at the breakout of the resistant line of that channel. And in fact, the resistant line of that channel also shares a confluence with the descending trend line we identified earlier, where a breakout of the descending trend line will be a sign that the trend line may no longer have the capacity to continue to negate this bullish attempt anymore, hereby confirming a bullish momentum for us. So let's see how price action plays out here in the next couple of hours, and trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platforms to give you updates on what our next line of action will be, or if there are any interesting new setups that come up along the line. So these are my view here on the XAUUSD. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and trust me, I am here and willing to be of help in that regard. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, and you can as well use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them to guide your trading activities for today. So let's see if we have any questions before we move on to the last instrument for today. All right, so I can see some comments here. Sophie Oyugi, all right, thank you for understanding. I appreciate that. Manju Harum, like the video, guys. Please like the videos, please support the videos. Thank you very much, Majuna Room. I really appreciate your concerns. Thank you very much. Support the project, everyone. I will really appreciate your support too as well. All right, so let's, in the absence of no questions, let's move right into the last instrument for today, which is going to be, of course, the USDJPY, right? So the next instrument on our watch list for today is the USDJPY, another interesting market structure we have here on this currency pair. And in fact, if you had watched my video on the USDJPY, you would remember that we were able to identify a potential reversal pattern on the 1 hour time frame, which we said we are going to be using to guide a potential bullish uptrend in this particular market. But the way things are going right now, the market is still looking very, very indecisive at this point, as price action remain trapped within our key level, of course, for the week at the 138.850 800 zone and the 138.375 level, to emphasize the level of indecision in this particular market. Now, before we go into the details of what we are going to be looking at here, let's run through my commentary on the USDJPY, which I shared this morning, before we go into the detail. And if you are with me on my TradingView and Telegram platform, you will definitely have received the update as regards to how we are going to be managing our position for today. So this is my commentary here on the USDJPY for today. So I said here that the market continues to exhibit a certain level of uncertainty as we await a breakout of the potential neckline, of course, we identified in the previous video at the 138.800 level, which would confirm the reversal pattern highlighted in the video. Nevertheless, it is important to acknowledge the possibilities of sellers influencing the market dynamic at this point. A breakdown retest of the new support line for the week at the 138.375 could potentially present selling opportunities that cannot be overlooked. So while trying to dissect and decipher what could likely happen today, we were able to identify a range where price action has been caught within. And in fact, I would really love to share with you how things are looking like from an holistic point of view on the 1 hour time frame, so that we can see things clearly. So let me go to as far back as the daily time frame. Let me just share this so that we can all understand what is really going on in this market. Now, if you look at the daily time frame here, it's of course obvious that price action has been bullish since the beginning of the year, and in fact we have a couple of trend lines on your screen right now which confirms the strength of the buyers at this point. However, in addition to that trend line, I identified a key level at the 137.500, which you can see has been a major determinant of price action since the month of March. And if you look at this level here and looking at how price action has been relating to the structure at every point in time price gets within that zone, you will see that it's quite interesting how that level has been determining how price action is going to move. Now, look at what happened here in the month of March. We saw our selling pressure resumed around that area, negating all attempt by the buyers to break out of that level. We saw the same thing also happen here at the first day of the month of May, and not until mid-month of May that we finally saw the breakout of that level. And since that moment, price action has remained above that area to further emphasize the strength of the buyers. Now, fast forward 2 months after, price action is back into that level, as you can see here. And one interesting thing we noticed here is the appearance of buy pressure as soon as price action tested that level. Another interesting thing about this structure is the fact that that same level here also shares a beautiful confluence with that ascending trend line. Now, the question at this point in time is quite simple. Are we going to see a situation where price would respect the ascending trend line one more time to incite another wave of bullish momentum? Or are we going to be seeing a situation where this area is going to be broken to the downside to signal a sell-off in this market? Now, you will see that we are at a very critical point in the market where anything could actually happen around this area. And for us to capture any potential opportunity here, we want to anticipate the move even before it happens. And in order for us to do that, we want to scale down to a much more lower time frame to see things more clearly. Now, in order to do this, I went down to the 1 hour time frame, and this is what I saw here, and I shared in my video during the course of the weekend. I saw a potential reversal pattern forming behind the scenes here in the form of a inverse head and shoulder pattern. Now, if we take into consideration the impulsive move that brought us to this point, we can see we have something looking like the left shoulder here, the edge shoulder, as soon as price action tested that 137.500 area that I showed you on the daily time frame. Price came back into what's supposed to be serving as a neckline of the structure, and right now we have a situation where price action may likely be going through the formation of the right shoulder of this reversal pattern to further give us to validate this reversal pattern for us. Now, currently, I'm of the opinion that price action may likely be going through the formation of the right shoulder of that inverse head and shoulder pattern. Now, if we look at the structure, whenever you know how we do it here, whenever we start seeing a situation where price action is gradually transitioning into a reversal pattern, the next thing we want to be doing is to identify a neckline which we are going to be using to validate the potency of that reversal pattern. And coincidentally, we have a neckline situated at the 138.800 area, which of course has been serving as the resistant line for this week. And of course, you know what we expect here. We want to see a breakout of that neckline to validate the potency of this reversal pattern to drive an uptrend continuation. Now, since we have price caught within a range right now since the beginning of this week, we still need to be very, very patient. So at this point in time, you know how we do it. Whenever we have a simple flat channel like this, we want to remain patient, waiting for either a breakout of the resistant line to give us an opportunity to buy. Of course, if a breakout of that resistant line happens, remember the resistant line is also the neckline of that potential reversal pattern we identified earlier, which will also confirm the validation, will also validate that reversal pattern for us. Then the other scenario is a breakdown of the support line here to welcome selling opportunities. Now, let me quickly speak about the selling opportunities here. Now, remember I told us all that we are sitting on a very strong key level at the 137.500, which has been a major determinant of price action. And coupled with the fact that we begin to see something that looks like a reversal pattern, so it is very necessary for us to remain patient and study price action around that support line before joining any bearish move, as the structure we have here is looking very reversal in nature. So before selling the breakdown of the 1.38375, we want to see confirmations that sellers are actually gaining momentum around that area. As you can see, since the beginning of this week, we have been noticing buy pressure here, giving us a clue that buyers might likely push price to break out of that neckline. So for us to sell here, I want to see we are not having a sell stop order below the structure at this point, as we want to see confirmations that sellers are actually gaining momentum here. So I want to see a breakdown of this structure happen, then retest of this level. So as soon as we have a breakdown of that support line here, we are going to be looking forward to our lower time frame. Of course, we can go to as far as our 5 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes time frame to look out for retest of the structure, further confirming that sellers are gradually gaining momentum. And in fact, this will be a sign that buyers may not be able to push price above the 138.375 anymore, and this will reflect on the chart as continued selling pressure around this area before we can join a bearish move to the downside. So this is how we are going to be selling if the market breaks down the 138.375 level. So these are my views here on the USDJPY, but I'm still of the opinion that price action is likely going to be breaking out of that resistant line at the 138.800, which also serves as a neckline of the potential reversal pattern we identified in the USDJPY video. So these are my views here on the USDJPY for today, and if you do have any questions whatsoever as regards to what I explained here, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and trust me, I am here and willing to be of help in that regard. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to pause the video and see if there are any questions, and you can as well take that time to mark out these levels on your chart, while you will be needing them to guide your trading activities for today's trading session. All right, guys. Okay, I can see Situn27945. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Good morning to you. Glad to have you around, and you're welcome. Fred asking, do you factor in fundamentals? Yes, of course, we do factor in fundamentals. This is the first thing we normally look at whenever we start the session, to check the economic calendar and see if we do have any economic event to look out for. And of course, in this community, for those who has been with me in this community for a while now, will all understand by now that these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. And when we monitor the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and of course specific technical patterns. So of course we do consider the fundamentals, as it helps us in better timing and of course helping us to position ourselves ahead during or even after the event. So I hope I answered your question, Fred. If you still need further clarifications, please let me know in the comment section. All right, so in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we're on the same page here. So we shall be rounding off for today. And that reminds me, the XAUUSD live monitoring window. So I will be sharing the link to that window in the comment section right now, so that you want to click the link and then click on the notify me button, so that whenever we come on live, you will be able to get a notification that we are now live. So I will be sharing the link right now. So click the link, click on the notify me button, so that you can be notified as soon as we come on live for the XAUUSD live monitoring window. So be part of that session. We come there to trade the XAUUSD together live, and you see how we add positions to our existing trade. You see how we move our stop losses. You see how we extend our TP target. You see how we manage our positions while we anticipate economic events and the likes there. So I hope to see you guys in the comment section of that XAUUSD live monitoring as we trade that commodity together. So in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page, and I'm very confident that we are well equipped and ready to be on standby to capture any potential trading opportunities that lies ahead of us for today. And that reminds me, for those who are joining us for the first time, I hope you are able to gain one or two things with us here in this community. Trust me, the more time you spend with us, you will eventually get to understand how our style of trading works here. It's quite simple and very easy to understand if you follow through what the instructions are on this one. The more time you spend with us, the better you become. And in fact, I still look forward to seeing you same time tomorrow, 8:05 AM UTC, as we come here again to review how well our financial instrument has been doing so far, and at the same time get ready for tomorrow's trading session. If you have found this content helpful and useful in you making your independent trading decisions, on all the instruments we have talked about today. I would greatly appreciate that you support this video by giving it a thumbs up. Your likes are very valuable to me, and in fact it also helps the YouTube algorithm to promote the video to a wider audience of traders who may find the material beneficial to them too. Thank you in advance as you do so, and if you haven't already, I encourage you to follow me on this channel for more of this insightful content. By subscribing, you would always stay updated with the latest ideas I share, and of course receive notifications whenever I upload new videos and commentaries. Thank you very much as you do so, and I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as we continue to monitor price action. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.